Welcome back, everybody, to another C Squared podcast episode. A lot of things in the world of chess have happened since the last time we recorded an episode. The big news is FIDE potentially having to relocate the Candidates tournament 1 month before the first move is being played from Canada to potentially Spain. We will be discussing that in just a second. Fabi, a lot of crazy things are happening right now before the candidates. Tell us how those rumors impact you, if they impact you at all.
Well, certainly they could impact me. It depends on whether or not the candidate gets moved because of potential visa issues. So I don't have visa issues because American citizens can travel to Canada freely, and also I think American green card holders. So
That's
if you have
right.
a green card, you
That
can
is correct.
also travel to Canada freely. But the players in the tournament, some come from India. Actually, many come from India. Uh, some come from Russia. We're also counting the women's candidates, of course, because they were held at the same time. And for example, Abbasov comes from Azerbaijan, and I think also Fallujah would need a visa. I guess I'm not sure if he's a French citizen. I guess he is. Um, but yeah, he's a French resident, and
I
he
think he
was
got residency. I'm not going to put my money on it, but I don't think he has the citizenship yet. But I do know for a fact that he has residency. So that could
but
be a potential issue as well.
it could even be an issue that he was in Iran at some point. Like I know that this was an issue with someone I know who normally would have no problem getting a visa to the United States,
Hmm.
but traveled to Cuba at some point, which makes it much more difficult and means that you have to get another type of visa,
Yeah.
which takes a lot longer and there's a higher chance that you get rejected. So depending on where you've been, can also have some issues. But yeah, Russians clearly have some issues. I think that from what I've seen, the Indian players have all been granted visas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
what I've seen. So this is according to the Canadian Chess Federation president. Uh, so okay, in that case, I guess that does make it quite a bit more likely that Canada will manage to get everything done in time.
Yeah.
But then we're thinking that Jan, a Russian player, and Goryachkina, Russian player, might still be having trouble getting a visa, and maybe Abbasov and maybe Firouzja. I'm not sure, but
What about
I haven't
the
spoken to
the
anyone.
Chinese players? The Chinese players that are in the women's candidates. We do have
Yeah,
Chinese players, right?
also could be an issue. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's also true.
Lei and Tan Zhongyi and Lei
Yeah,
Tingzhe.
yeah. So there are a lot of potential people who could be affected.
Right. And
And Canada, I think, is not that, it's not easy to get in.
no, and it seems like there is a backlog due to COVID. This was the problem for the US as well. I know for a fact that my parents actually were trying to get visas for the US, and the backlog during COVID was about 2 years. Now things have smoothened out, but it's country by country. Some countries have not recovered from that, and Canada seems to be one of those countries. So, yeah, potentially quite problematic. Now, the rumors are, or at least that's what has been discussed, that the replacement for Canada would be Spain. The last candidates was in Spain, but logistically, this would change a lot of things, even let's say for you, right? Time zone differences are quite
Yeah.
important.
So
Um,
well,
so,
I'd have to go change time zone for 7 hours rather than 1 hour, which would be Toronto would be 1 hour. Um, Still, Western Europe or Europe in general would be easier than if it were to go to Asia, for example, right? Then, um, so I don't have any inside information. I also saw that Spain was mentioned as an alternative. If it were to go to like Kazakhstan, and this is of course the biggest change that it could be, like if it were to go really far east,
yeah.
which I guess there's a theoretical possibility, but I really don't know. I was thinking to ask them like, how it's moving along, but I haven't gotten around to that yet. It's still some time to make it. So I had actually heard this like as a potential problem in like October,
Right.
or maybe it was November. But yeah, around that period, I heard that there was a potential problem with visas and Russian players, Goryachkina, Lucknow, Jan. So then nothing happened. I heard no news. I was like, okay, probably not an issue, right? If we're not hearing anything about it and it's already coming up on like a month away, which it actually is a month away,
Hmm.
then yeah, probably not going to be an issue. And then suddenly we hear that it is actually an issue, not a rumored issue, but a real issue. So we'll see how that progresses.
No, absolutely. I mean, definitely a difficult problem to overcome. The news are quite positive as of right now. I think they basically have a self imposed deadline of Friday, the organizers, to get everything sorted out or at least see that they're moving in the right direction. They did say that they're moving in the right direction. The guy that you were mentioning at the beginning that said that the Indians got their visas also was on national television. They're basically trying to pressure the Canadian government to do things quickly and solve these things quickly. Now, outside of the players, though, you might have seconds, helpers from certain countries that cannot get visas easily. You might
Yeah, but
have.
this is on the players.
Mhm, this is on, but
Like the FIDE can't or the organizers can't ensure that everyone who you might potentially want to take. Like this is if you can't take your second, if you can't get them there in time,
right.
that's sort of on you, I think. It's not really because there's all sorts of logistical issues. Like what if suddenly a week before I decide that I want to work with someone else and now can you please get him a visa in time or get her a visa in time? And yeah, that's really on the players to manage that their seconds get there and no, I don't think that's a question.
Hmm.
Now, official FIDE people could be an issue. Uh,
Yes, like even photographers. I think who was it? Maria. I think Emelianova posted at some
yeah,
point on Twitter that she might have had some problems. I hope I'm
I
not
would
mistaken.
sort of think that in general, unless you can't get anyone over, but if you just can't get like a select few people who are part of like the crew,
Hmm.
then this shouldn't be a game-changing issue, right?
Yeah.
Like let's say you can't get an arbiter or you can't get a photographer to Canada, like you shouldn't move the entire event because of this. That would be pretty odd, right?
Yeah.
Like just find someone else.
Yeah. So this is March 4th right now. They did say that they will make a decision whether they're going to keep it in Canada or try to move it around by March 7th. Sorry, by March 8th. That would be on Friday. So still a few days left, but definitely right now it's looking better than it used to look like 24 hours ago. With the Indian players getting their visas, that's an encouraging sign, but still plenty of work to be done. So
But the issue will very often come down to Russia, right? I mean,
most likely, yes, yes.
this is more of a like a sticking point if for Canada than Indian players would be, right?
I'm
Um,
not
I
sure.
don't
I'm not sure because
maybe not.
the Canadian Indian relationships, political relationships, are pretty tense right now as well. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
so
But
I don't know.
but like from a let's say from a point of view of what how the world feels in
Hmm.
general, like Russia is going to be more of an issue.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
If it's like a public thing where Canada's thinking, well, um, well, I don't know who would be in charge of that. Some who they're reaching out to, I guess some like some minister, right?
I believe this is what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to reach out to the minister of, um, yeah, of visas or like of international travel. I don't know exactly how it's called, but yeah, there is some sort of a minister. Um, cool. So yeah, that's big problem. Big problem. Hopefully, FIDE will be able to solve it. They have a few days left until they have to make a decision. It seems like everything should be clarified by the end of the week. Do you feel anything different, or you're not really focused on this at all? You're just letting it
Not too
play out.
worried. we'll see how it plays out. It's not in my control, so yeah, not too worried at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right.